Welcome back to TransGuyReacts. My name is Nik and I make videos about women's basketball, collegiate or professional, and today I'm talking about the WNBA game Commissioner's Cup series. It's the championship game today, Tuesday, June 25th. So today that was a very interesting game between the Minnesota Lynx and the New York Liberty. It was very tumultuous back and forth, and it ended up being 89 to 94. The Minnesota Lynx won on New York Liberty's court, which was unfortunate for them. Uh, it was a very, very interesting game. I will say that the New York Liberty fans came up and they showed out. It was a full house, sold out arena. Um, and pretty raucous. I, for one, actually last year was at the Commissioner Cup for 2024 or 2023 rather, and that was between New York Liberty and the Aces, and Aces was on the home court. And the same thing that happened here, the New York Liberty was the opposing team, won on Aces home court, but it was actually kind of a blowout, which was really unfortunate. But it was nice to see. I actually had flown in specifically for that game. I lived in the Bay Area, and I flew into Vegas just for that game, and then I left the same exact day. And I believe I also got COVID that day. So that was fun. It is what it is. And then apparently, in the last 4 years of this Commissioner Cup, the opposing team has won. So that's something interesting to talk about. For this game, Lisa Ewington, LaChina Robinson, and Tamika Catchings were the announcer or like the analysts. I love hearing LaChina Robinson and Tamika Catchings. LaChina Robinson is just amazing analyst. She's been around forever. And then Tamika Catchings, I love that she's an analyst now. She's been doing that for the past few years. She was a former Indiana Fever post player and was the reason why they won a championship back in so many years ago. Now she does analyst work, and I also love that she's part deaf. So I also love that she's representing disabled people in the sports world and the analyst world too. So she's a broadcaster who's half deaf. That's freaking crazy. It's amazing. But yeah, back to this game. It was interesting. So it was pretty close for the first quarter, 23 to 27, New York Liberty, and then Minnesota had a slight advantage in the second quarter, 24 to 23. But then in that third quarter, Cheryl Reeve made an adjustment as she always does, and she was able to limit the New York Liberty to 10 points in the third quarter. They got 19 points, and then in the last quarter, it was super tight, 28 to 29, but the New York Liberty really just took over. And I have to say, the New York Liberty took over, excuse me, the Minnesota Lynx took over. And Bridget Carlton was just fire this evening. She was just hitting on all cylinders. So, but look, to break down the box score, Kayla Thornton had 17 points. She was shooting really well. Brianna Stewart had 24 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting pretty well, but she turned over the ball quite a bit. She had 5 turnovers. But Nigelini Hamilton had 13 points, 6 assists. But she was in a little bit of foul trouble. And then Sabrina Ionescu had 23 points, 10 rebounds. And again, she was having some turnover issues. She had 7 turnovers, so was not really helping. But Katie Burke hit a few shots. Also to note, Vandersloot was back in this game. She played 13 minutes, only had 4 points, 4 assists. But again, she was effective on the floor. It's just I'm surprised that she's back so soon. Her mom died last week. I don't understand why she's back. I'm sure she knew that her mom was dying and this was a long process, but I'm like, you need time to grieve. Like, why are you back playing? It's so wild. But it is what it is. It happened. For the Lynx, Bridget Carlton went off. She had 23 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. She was doing all types of things. Nafisa Collier had 21 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals herself. Kayla McBride had 12 points. Courtney Williams had 11 points, and Cecilia Saldonzini had 15 points. So it was a well-rounded venture from most of the people on the floor. And then when they did the presentation for the Commissioner's Cup, Nafisa Collier actually won the MVP, which I thought was weird because I felt like Bridget Carlton was actually the most valuable player. She was the one making a lot of steals and making points, and she had the most points, in fact. But they decided to give it to Nafisa, and then when Nafisa got it, she immediately was like, I think we need to give this to Bridget. Like, Bridget is the more deserving person, which, yeah, Absolutely. So it was a really good game, especially the last minute of the game was freaking crazy. It was a lot going on, back and forth stuff. New York made it pretty competitive. They almost could have won this at the last minute, but it just wasn't enough. The Lynx are just too locked in. They're just too good right now. So yeah, that was the game. A little bit lackluster because when the opposing team wins on someone's home floor, it's just not that fun because the crowd there isn't really for them. So it's like a more muted celebration, and that can be a little, not as entertaining, frankly. But good job for the Minnesota Lynx. They won their first Commissioner's Cup, and they're looking really good this season. I see them doing really well in the playoffs. It's going to be interesting to see if they are going to compete in the championship games in the finals. We'll see. They're looking pretty good, I have to say. Oh, also, it was Kayla McBride's birthday today, so that's also nice. Kayla gets to win the Commissioner's Cup on her birthday, win a little bit of money for themselves and for their charities, and happy birthday. So, all right, thanks for watching this. If you enjoy this kind of content, please like, share, and subscribe. And as I always say, I do not have my comment section on because I don't care what random strangers on the internet think about me. But if you are here every day for my updates, I do appreciate you. You are awesome, and I will see you in the next one.